One full year of waiting for this is just about done, and in the words we have heard around here for so long, let's play hockey. From Angel of the Winds Arena in downtown Everett, welcome to our 2021 Everett Silvertips season preview show. I'm Mike Benton. Well, it's a sprint for everyone out of the gate. 24 games in total for the Western Hockey League, and for the Silvertips, it's about maximizing their potential along with potential victories here for this season. They have an intriguing blend of promising youth, established players on the cusp of playing pro, many a part of last season's team that put up 46 wins, most in the entire Western Hockey League. The future is certainly bright, and finally now back to a reality of playing hockey once again. Until fans are allowed back in the seats, WHL Live, among other channels, the place to go to catch Silvertips hockey all season long. KRKO on the radio side, each game a half hour before puck drop. I'll be with you. Justin Morrison and Keith Black as well joining us throughout the entire season. About WHL Live, it's a place the Silvertips can be seen every game all season, streamed to your favorite device. Watch.chl.ca to sign up, which includes a free preview of opening night. While we're out of the Silvertips Hockey Show, usually airs from Sporty's Beef and Brew each Tuesday during the season. The show is right now on hiatus, so right now it is a time for us to pay homage to our longtime partners at Sporty's Beef and Brew, our support to them here throughout this entire Silvertips season preview show. Check out their menu as well, order online at sportiesbeefandbrew.com. EverettSilvertips.com, the place to go for season ticket memberships. You can pick from 34 games, 22 or 14 game plans. A deposit of $50 locks you in. Well, about these Silvertips, they had it going on last season. 46 wins and 1 point shy of the Scotty Monroe before the COVID-19 pandemic stopped everything. The Silvertips returning all three overagers, Gianni Fairbrother, Cole Fonstad, and Ethan Renier. In net, Dustin Wolf, your defending CHL Goaltender of the Year. Behind the bench, head coach Dennis Williams, now owning 2 U.S. Division titles, a Western Conference title, and 3 straight 40-win seasons since he arrived. Not too shabby. You'll hear from him, Garry Davidson, Dustin Wolf, Cole Fonstad, and Gianni Fairbrother here in this show as we get you set for puck drop this Saturday, 6:05 against the Spokane Chiefs. As far as those who have come back, let's see him once again right now. Here are the highlights.
Side for Goot, down low Patterson, in front for Fairbrother, he scores! The Silvertips 2 of 2 on the man advantage. Gets it back in, drops it for Campbell, his shot, he scores! Center point to the receiver. That circle, across the field. Wolf off of Martin Lang. Cross zone back here is Hughes, a shot. What a save by Dustin Wolf. Oh, mercy. Sends it back to Zellweger. Twisting off Rybinski. Nice move to the slot. Shoots, he scores! The Greenfish right wing. Into the zone in front for Giroux. Save is made. Rebound. New drop back to Brown. Benton in front, Cylinder, what a save made by Dustin Wolf. Gonzalez takes up Manning, tips, get it back, Fonstad. Into the slot, Fonstad, a burst into the offensive zone, off for Goot, drops it back for Seeley, he scores! Angle it back in, chases one down, left circle, shoots and scores! At the hash mark, directs it back, left point to Fairbrother, cross ice, Gonzalez, hangs on, shoots, score! Still battling Williams, Seattle takes over, Gonzalez stole it, Gonzalez, in all alone, shoots, he scores! Tips win! How sweet it
Our
is!
season preview show rolls along. We're now joined by Silvertips General Manager Garry Davidson joining us virtually. Garry, thank you very much for your time and congratulations to finally getting to this big step, or this close to finally launching the regular season in WHL play. When's the last time you experienced an off season with that much time away from real game action?
It's a first, Mike. This has been unbelievable. to think I went home to Salmon Arm on May 21st and didn't get back here till, or excuse me, that was back May 21st and returned here February 8th. And we're just a little over a year from when we shut down, and we're just a few days away from the home opener, which will be exciting to get back at it here.
A lot of your job focuses on structure, schedule, planning. Anything that you remember that gave you a second to take a breath, pause, and say, finally, we're finally getting back at it?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I honestly didn't think we would play this season. And that set into my mind there well before Christmas. But then all of a sudden, things started to come together there in January. And then it went from not being very optimistic to, oh boy, we're going to actually try to play this season, to the point now that we're days away. So there was a lot of days for me, Mike, where there was a lot of questions, but we had no answers to those questions. And it was almost like Groundhog Day. Every day you'd get up, everybody was frustrated. Players were frustrated. Coaches were frustrated. Scouts didn't know what was going on. And, but again, we'll look back at this, I'm sure, in a few years and just shake our head and say, did we really go through this? And hopefully we don't ever have to deal with it again.
What do you think it took to finally make this all happen and to finally help put it all together?
Well, again, it's a big commitment by ownership. That's the biggest thing here, because we're playing in front of no fans, so we're not generating any revenue. So from a business standpoint, it's a real difficult time, very difficult. On the hockey operations, it's become a little bit difficult in some ways too. We don't have as much staff available. We're down to 2 coaches instead of the normal 3 and things like that. But again, the big commitment had to come from the ownership end of it. They had to step up and say, yeah, we're willing to play this short season. As it stands right now, 24 games with no playoffs. And again, that was the bottom line on it. Commitment by ownership to allowing us to have this development type season.
Besides the obvious length, what do you think is going to feel different about a 24-game schedule that forces human beings who do this on a daily basis to adjust and work outside their own comfort zone?
Well, again, I think everybody's been involved with this pandemic for a number of months now. So, where we've had complete lockdown to minimal lockdown. Nobody could go outside. Nobody could
Dustin
go
Wolf off of Martin Lang. Puck thrown back here as Hughes a shot.
Well, the
What a
biggest
save!
suggestion I think going forward is people are going to have to watch online, and our players are going to have to play in front of basically empty buildings. But again, once the game starts, I think it's a game, and our players will rise to the occasion, and they'll get out there, they'll work hard and compete and try to win. And obviously, for the young guys, gives them a head start on next season, and for our older guys, it might get them an opportunity for a door to be opened coming next year at the higher levels.
I'll touch on some parts of that roster that you mentioned in just a little bit, beginning here right now with the young players. How much does this year mean to them?
Well, I think it's really good for our young players. Obviously, we're carrying more than we normally would too, and we can talk about that a little more detail later. But I think this is a great opportunity for the young players to get their feet wet, so to speak, and then hit the ground running next year when we play a regular full 68-game schedule.
Gianni Fairbrother has his future secure. Dustin Wolf, who could come back as a 20, but he's now signed by Calgary. His future secure. Gage Gonsalves as well. I'm curious about Cole Fonstad and Ethan Renier, 2 overagers battling for a future at the pro level. Besides that goal, what kind of impact can they make on other players who can stay here after this next year?
Well, I think our leadership group, our older group, you've mentioned most of them in that comment there. They're going to set the tone and set the example for all our young guys. So there's that. That for me is a big part of this too. But for the guys that are playing for their futures there, obviously it's a short season, 24 games. So they're going to have to come out fired up on game 1 and be real consistent through the 24 games. So it hopefully opens up some opportunities and doors for them. the other thing to keep in mind, all our players are still acquiring scholarship money for the future. If so be they decide to go and utilize their scholarships, go to college, and hopefully continue to play some hockey at the college level as well.
Your coaching staff, led by Dennis Williams, done a tremendous job. What seems like a 40-win season year after year. Last year, nobody had more wins in the entire Western Hockey League. To take that and then transfer it to what seems like a bizarre setup as ever to play just 24 games, what kind of a job and what kind of an impact have they made and can they make here on this team?
Well, I think they've really kept in tune with all our prospects, not only the 24 guys
here's
Hughes,
a shot. What a save!
Hopefully we'll be here in the future with Zoom calls and communication and teaching sessions. And then once we landed here in Everett, these guys have worked extremely hard, and they're trying to cram a lot in a very short period of time. So hopefully we got some quick learners here and they pick some things up. But again, I can't say enough about the work ethic that both Dennis Williams, Willie, and Louis Mass have done. And again, we're short one guy, which, I'm not sure it's going to have a big effect short term, but long term, as we get into this 24-game schedule, it'd certainly be nice to have another person there. But that's not the case. But again, these two guys have done a terrific job, and they've done a terrific job for the last few years here. Tremendous job. And we're very fortunate in the staff we have here. Very fortunate. And our players are exceptionally fortunate to have these guys leading and teaching.
You get at least one more season out of Dustin Wolf, the reigning CHL Goaltender of the Year. What kind of a mark has he made on this program, and how much can he help with who's next in line?
Well, again, we've been pretty fortunate in my time here. We go back-to-back with Carter Hart and Dustin Wolf, two exceptional goaltenders, and exceptional people, exceptional examples. And again, that's what Dustin brings to the table here right now. Obviously, whatever starts he gets in this 24 game will give us solid goaltending, but more importantly for me, his ability to show the way for the two young goaltenders that we have in camp here in Braden Holt and Evan May. So Wolfie's a real pro, and hopefully a lot of that rubs off on these two young guys.
Well, he's shown the way. The leaders have shown the way for the younger players. You've shown the way to help get this season up and going and make it possible. Garry Davidson, congratulations on finally hitting the starting blocks. Thank you very much once again for joining us.
Excited to be here and excited to get this underway, Mike. Thanks very much.
Get it back, Fonstad. Into the slot, he shoots, he scores!
Well, the season getting closer. Finally, great again to have one of these conversations. Joining us now is Silvertips head coach Dennis Williams. Dennis, thank you very much for joining us here. Great to see your face, hear your voice once again. And I'll ask these guys this same question on this show. I'm curious from a coach's perspective. 12 months of waiting are just about in the rearview mirror with these guys. What do you remember about walking into the building here, very first day of camp?
Well, you think back to how it all ended, first of all, and how you feel for those guys that weren't able to finish off last season. But then you're grateful again for being able to start up quickly here. And I know for our guys, they're really excited to be here from our staff standpoint with Lewis and I. I know we were excited. You kept hearing maybe September, October, November, December, and finally the days here where we finally get to see all the new players, all our returning players, and just a great job by the Everett staff. With our front office doing a great job and preparing to get everything up and going. A lot goes to Zorn, doing a lot of the grunt work behind scenes, and to all the owners, our owner Bill Ewell, and to all the owners in the U.S. division and around the Western Hockey League to make this happen this year. It's going to be a great 8 to 10 weeks, and we're really excited to get going.
What was the hardest part about waiting?
Probably the unknown, not knowing when we're going to start. So how do you prep? How do you how many Zoom calls are you doing with the team to keep them engaged? What are you going to keep talking about? Like, you can't go over systems all the time, and so I think it's just the anticipation. You're just ready to get going. So when we finally got the green light that we were working that 28 days out, and it all started to come real then.
What do you define as core values of Silvertips hockey this season?
I think when you talk about stuff like that, core values, we expect our guys to play a certain way. We always talk about, and not just on the ice, but how we act off the ice as well. We really want our guys to develop into young men here, and we try to keep them to a schedule. We want to keep a good amount of discipline on our guys. We always tell our players we want guys that want to be hockey players, that want to play pro hockey. No matter if you're a 15, 16-year-old or 20-year-old, you still have those aspirations to want to get to that next level. And for me, it's about being on time. It's about being a student of the game. No different than us coaches. We got to do the same. We got to continue to get better at our job and continue to learn from other coaches. And so all we ask our players to come in, be a sponge, compete every day, work hard, try to bring in all those details we talk about on the ice and off the ice. And we know it's not going to come easy to first year players. It takes time. It's kind of like Groundhog Day. You got to keep doing that, repeating to them over and over what you want to get done. But as soon as they can get it, you can check the box and move on to the next one. But so far, I've been really happy and impressed by all the young guys and our veterans.
Given the fact that you have Dustin, Wolf, Gianni, Fairbrother, and Gage Gonsalves on the verge of turning pro, overagers like Cole Fonstad, Ethan Renier battling for the next step, and young teammates also looking to posture for the NHL entry draft, how can players maximize their impact for 24 games?
Again, I think just paying attention to the details, for the first year players, really watching that leadership group, seeing how they go about their day-to-day kind of schedule and how they come to the rink and they get their warm-ups, the amount of sleep they're getting, the amount of what they're eating, just their whole daily routines are important to them, So for me, it's really working on making sure that, our guys understand the importance of a short-term event. And that's kind of what this is. We're playing a lot of hockey, 24 games in like 49 days or 50 days, I think it is. So we're going to have a lot of guys, a lot of the players step up in different roles. We don't have the typical Friday, Saturday, week off to prep. Like a lot of our games are going to be 2 a weekend with a weekday game. So it's going to be a lot of work for guys, but in a small window that I'm really hoping that we can do a really good job and like you said, help those 20-year-olds that right now with Cole and Ethan, finding them pro contracts and getting to have the opportunity to pursue their dreams and play at the highest level.
Garry Davidson said moments ago, more youngsters in camp than usual here for this season. How can this season set the table for them long-term down the road?
Again, I think they have to continue to understand that it's a jump to the Western Hockey League, and to come every day, like I said, to whether you had a good day or a poor day the day before, the next day is a new day. When we say here, you got to hit the reset button, no matter what you have. And so for me, it's about getting better each day, and making sure that when you leave here in the 60 days from now or 70 days, whatever it is, that you became a better hockey player and a better person while being here. Speaking
of good habits, you mentioned that earlier. I think you had some good habits during this pandemic. You look built. You look swole. What was your fitness plan going through all this?
I had to keep up with Lewis. Louie over there. And with yourself, Benton, doing all the workouts, you put the pressure on me. So I'm not really sure. It was a long 12 months. You had to find something to do, and so that's kind of what we did. We decided to get into a jogging schedule, and it's been good.
Well, if I can keep moving at your pace and Louie's pace, then I'm off to a great start here. Dennis Williams, thank you for joining us. Looking forward to more of these conversations, and have a good one as well.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Left side for Goot, down low Patterson, in front for Fairbrother, he scores! Left circle, Zellweger across the Fairbrother, he scores!
And 12 months of waiting are just about in the rearview mirror. Our show rolls on, and joining us now is Silvertips co-captain Gianni. Fairbrother, Gianni, thank you very much for joining us once again. In this waiting period, finally just about done, what do you remember about walking into the building here for your very first day of this season?
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of excitement, obviously. Not being here for, like you said, almost a year. So it was definitely exciting, and be able to see the guys is even better. So really happy to be back, and I can't wait to get games going next week.
By now you've had routine take over. What's different as far as day-to-day once you step inside here?
I think obviously just the kind of protocols are the only difference part. We still are able to do everything that we normally would be able to do for a normal season. So besides the protocols and kind of different little rules that we need to be following to stay safe, there isn't too much different here.
Bryce Kendop, Wyatt Wiley, Jay Christensen, all those 20-year-old guys last year are out. Casper Pudio and Michael unable to play here right now due to border issues. What do you like about the leadership in place and your teammates who are here right now, all set to take over?
Yeah, I think obviously we lost a couple key guys there from last year, but I really like our group this year. Everyone's been working hard. We've had a good 7 days of work here, so I think everyone's been doing their part, and everyone wants to be better. So we're just really excited to see how we can click during games, and can't wait to get things going.
Everyone wants to win. That's a given. You have 24 games here to make that mark, but development is also a big hallmark in the Western Hockey League. What have you seen in place with your coaches as far as how they make an impact?
Yeah, I think obviously the biggest development is probably winning games and learning how to win. So I think obviously the last couple of years we've been pretty good at that, and we've won a lot of hockey games. So nothing's going to change from that way, and we're going to keep doing what we need to do to win hockey games, and that'll make everyone better.
Before the season, what's more accurate, satisfaction or relief? The Montreal contract got done.
I think probably a bit of both. Obviously it's been a goal of mine since being drafted by them a couple drafts ago. So I was really excited and kind of relieved to get that over with, and just really excited to be back here and get back to work with the guys.
What did you enjoy most about the experience in Laval, and how much can that make an impact for you in your final season?
Yeah, I think just I just learned a lot. Obviously living on my own for over a month, it's a bit different than obviously being with a bill, and then obviously seeing how guys who have been playing pro for probably almost a decade, some of them. So it was just a really good learning experience overall.
You're a co-captain of this team. What are the most important core values of leading a group of over 20 players in one room?
I think just kind of leading by example is probably the biggest thing. Kind of obviously having to keep some guys in line sometimes, but we have a really good group here. So, I think just kind of leading by example and showing obviously the young guys how we do things here. So I think that's been the biggest thing so far, but I think everyone's been doing a good job of it.
You've seen how much the fans energize this building ever since you stepped foot on the ice for the very first time as an AP call-up in the WHL playoffs. How much do you miss the fans?
Yeah, they're obviously a huge part for us as a team. They give us lots of energy, and probably everyone's favorite part about playing games here. So, we're going to miss them a lot, but I think we all know that they're watching over the computer screen. So we just want to put some good product on the ice and give them something to cheer on.
All right, one more season to give it a run before the next step in Montreal's system. Gianni, Fairbrother, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
That point being Fonstad. Wants it across for Christensen. Score!
Opening face-off, getting closer here for 2020 and 21 as we roll along in our season preview show. Mike Benton now joined by Silvertips co-captain Cole Fonstad virtually. Cole, thank you for joining us. Opening night, finally, it's almost here. Being away from these guys for a full year, what do you recall about walking into the building here, your very first day of camp?
Yeah, it was super exciting. Obviously, there's only so much you can catch up on just over FaceTime or Snapchat or whatever we do to keep in touch during the off season. But it was just so good to see the guys again and get back to work with them. So we're really excited to get going.
At what point did you realize, this is kind of getting old, the waiting period?
Yeah, I guess once summer was over, and then we usually come back here at the end of August, September. I think once that kind of hit and we still weren't back here, I think it kind of started to settle in that maybe it was going to be a while, but it was definitely frustrating at times. But I think all the guys did a pretty good job of sticking with it, continue to train hard, and just knowing that it'll pay off in the end.
We knew training camp and a 24-game schedule would be different. But as far as your expectations, how does this compare?
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was going to be tough. Obviously, week of quarantine at home, a week of quarantine here. So 2 weeks off the ice, all hockey players will know that that's going to do some damage to your conditioning. So you got to get it back quick, and I thought we did a good job of that.
I can't think of much more motivation as far as training and preparing than getting ready for your final season of WHL play. What's clear about this season to you as far as what you have to do to make the pro level?
Yeah, I think just get better every day, kind of take it one day at a time. Obviously, it's hard to do that with so much uncertainty about next year, but I think that's all you can really do is take it one day at a time, put your best foot forward every day, and the rest will take care of itself.
I can't think much as far as how much more you can accomplish than to have back-to-back 70-point seasons, win a WHL championship in Prince Albert, and get drafted. But as far as playing hockey here in downtown Everett, what has that given you since you arrived here over a year ago?
Yeah, it's been nothing but positive experience for me. Obviously, coming from PA to here, it's a whole different atmosphere, just the big city, and then the atmosphere around the rink. Obviously, the fans are great in both places, but just way bigger here. I think it's been a positive experience for me. I've learned a lot, met so many great people and friends since I got here, and I'm really thankful for it.
Earning a C as co-captain comes with responsibility. This year, there are plenty of worthy faces and voices who have a C or an A in the Silvertips dressing room to help fill a leadership role. Why are they all so important?
Yeah, it's huge. Me and G obviously have the C, but there's a few other guys in there that can have it as well. I think on all great teams, there's lots of great leaders, and that's what we have here. So we're lucky, and all the young guys are really lucky that they have lots of guys to learn from, and we're going to do our best to do that.
Some players will say they often thrive when they can use their voice to motivate players. Others say they do it just simply by showing up and leading by example. Given that whole collection of core values, why does this all fit and why does this all work?
I think we have a good mix. Obviously, we got guys who are really loud in the room. We got lots of guys who just kind of lead by example. And I think those are two really positive ways of leading. And some guys react differently to different things. So it's good to have a mix of that stuff. And we got a great group.
As of right now, 24 games and no playoffs. Winning is what you ultimately pursue as a hockey player. How do you define ultimate success as a team this year?
Yeah, winning. We've talked about it as a group, and I think teams want winners at the next level, and that's such a great development. Once you know how to win, it's a whole different thing. There's lots of good players out there that haven't won much, and winning takes you a long way. So that's what we're looking to do.
I don't want to put words into your mouth here, but in other words, you're basically saying even if there may be no playoffs, the more and more that you can show that winning is habitual, the likelier it will catch eyeballs at the pro level. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. 24 games here, and we want to win every one of them. I think just those habits, bring them to every game, every practice, and teach the young guys that, because once we're out of here, then they're going to have to be the ones to pass it down to the next group.
It's like Bryce Kindop, Wyatt Wiley, and Jay Christensen. They all moved on to the pro level. What legacy did they leave for you and your teammates?
Yeah, they were awesome. Obviously, great leaders. 3 top 20-year-olds in the league last year. So we were super lucky to have them. I think they all brought a different thing. Leadership-wise, obviously, Bryce was just kind of the heartbeat of our team last year. His feet never stopped moving. He led by example every day. And then those other two, I think their numbers and their play spoke for itself. So we were really lucky to have them.
Well, you are ready to carry the torch, all set for your final WHL season. All the best to you. Cole Fonstad, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Our season preview rolls along, and we're now joined by Silvertips goaltender Dustin Wolf. Dustin, thank you for joining us. In the last year, you earned a CHL Goalie of the Year. You got through a pandemic. You won a gold medal. You got signed by the Calgary Flames. You made your AHL debut, and you won your first American Hockey League game. You're older and wiser. Why is that?
I think over the course of the last 12 months, I've grown a lot, not only as a hockey player, but as a person. And, it's unfortunate that we weren't able to play a full season and, finish last year off on the right foot, all the extra things. But, I found a lot of positives out of the time off. And, I was able to accomplish a lot of stuff that normally I wouldn't be able to in a normal scenario of a season ending in May and, starting up again in August. So, while it was unfortunate at times, I think there was a lot of positives, and obviously being able to have a good outcome at the World Juniors and then be able to spend some time in Calgary with the Flames and then with the Heat. It was a tremendous start to my season, and happy to be back here in Everett.
When you're away from the ice for a long time, what's the best way to stay in shape?
It was tough. There wasn't a lot of access to gyms and resources for quite a while. Ventured down to California for a couple months. Went to Idaho for a week, and had the camp in Michigan for USA in the beginning of December. So it all kind of came through pretty quick after November hit, and leading up to that, just once the gyms did open, spent a lot of time in there. All you can really do is work on yourself and just continue to, progress in a time that you don't have a lot of resources in.
You got your teammates back for the first time in 12 months. What reminded you about the time on ice that you sorely missed?
Yeah, I think just the friendships and, all the laughs and all the fun times we have together. Being away from each other for 12 months, it was pretty difficult. I mean, we spent all day together with each other, and just to be able to come back and see them all again and, get kicking on what we all want to do and win hockey games and win a championship. So, it's a step in the right direction, and good to be back for sure.
How much do you remember Carter Hart's impact, his 19-year-old season, and what it left on this team, what it left on you, and putting yourself in those shoes now as far as the effect that you can have on the younger goalies?
Yeah, for sure. Coming in, obviously, it was tremendous to watch Hartsey go through his final year in the league, and he tore it up. It was something spectacular, and still one of the best to date. In my shoes, it's again just trying to give the team a chance to win each and every night. And, whatever happens on the individual side. But I'm just trying to be a good role model for May and Holtz as well. Just kind of leave a lasting impact, not only on the ice but off as well.
Dennis Williams, your head coach, talked about good habits and that having a lasting effect. How does that make a difference with this team in a 24-game schedule?
Yeah, there's not much room for error, and very limited time with practice, and then once games get going, it's every other day basically. So, these last 2 weeks have been just trying to perfect all the little details of the 5-on-5 and special teams, and just making sure when the puck does drop on Saturday that we're ready to go. And obviously there's going to be some rust. Guys haven't played in over a year, and fortunately I've played some games, so I've shaken off that rust a little bit. But it's just back to hockey at the end of the day, and you're going out there just trying to have fun and enjoy it. And if you come out with a win, it's just a bonus.
When you consider that you've already shaken off some rust being with the Stockton Heat, this season, 24 games out of the gate, how do you define your goals?
Yeah, I think just win as many hockey games as you can. With the uncertainty of whether or not there's going to be playoffs or, whatever happens. And you just got to take it day by day. And right now I'm just trying to enjoy each and every moment of it. With it most likely being my last year of junior hockey, just trying to have fun and spend a lot of time with the guys. And, these are the types of moments you won't get back. So, really just try to enjoy it, have fun, and, spend the last year here. It's make it a memorable one for sure.
Well, you have piled up plenty of wins, piled up plenty of memorable moments. Dustin, Wolf, can't thank you enough for joining us, and all the best here for the upcoming season.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that does it for our show. I want to thank Garry Davidson, Dennis Williams, Dustin Wolf, Gianni Fairbrother, Cole Fonstad for joining us. Certainly you as well. We'll talk with you beginning this Saturday. Opening night, finally, it's coming. 6:05 puck drop against the Spokane Chiefs. For the Silvertips season preview show, I'm Mike Benton. Have a great one.